Okay, before this video starts, I would like to make a formal apology. Because I recorded this video vertically once before, all the footage was stuck on vertical, so everything ended up sideways. That being said, I am going to remake this video from the ground up, starting with the tagline. One thing I like about my waifu, Timerra from Fire Emblem Engage, she's fun! A little more elaboration on that. And she's very outdoorsy. She has a good tan. She has a good singing voice. She likes to cook, and she loves camping. And there are more reasons why I like her, but I will not elaborate on that here. That being said, it's time we got on with the real meat and potatoes of this video. Welcome to part 2 of my hypothetical Fire Emblem Three Houses story, Rainbow Sun. Before we get started, I would like to mention that I forgot about the last part that I did some research and that we did earlier before the original video, and I discovered that as much as it pains me to do this, Volkard also confiscates the Ashen Wolves' heroes' relics, which means Yuri loses the fetters of Dromi and Balthus loses the Vestra Mushti. And, oh yeah, we also lose the Ashen Wolves for story reasons. Before we begin, there is something I would like to address. This is Myson. As you know, he has the appearance of a generic wizard, but thanks to the artistic efforts of Oneirio, he goes from this to this. This credit goes to Oneirio for these awesome character designs. And yes, this is Myson, but pay no attention to BS or Odess. They'll play a key role later on down the story. But I will say that they are involved with Caspar and Linhart respectively. And Oneirio came up with lore for these guys, but apparently it's been lost ever since Twitter was converted to X. So, while I have your attention on them, we also have a few other unique character designs too. These also include for Pidicus, Kylon, Cleobulus, Periander, and I don't think she was ever introduced, but her name is Anacharsis. And all these guys play important roles in the story. Once again, credit goes to Oneirio. Oh, these designs are great. I just wish they could be much more than the generic portraits. Hopefully we can get more art of these guys in the future. But for now, one more thing. From when you pick to appease Rhea, all story cutscenes have that little color, little indent of color to them, so they go from red to rainbow. One of the reasons why I call this route Rainbow Sun. Now then, as per tradition, Part 1. White Clouds, Lone Moon, the Shadows Return. Picking up from the last events of the previous month, Edelgard von Hresvelg has incited a rebellion against the church. And we, the professor, try to appease both Edelgard and Rhea. We cut open our chest, pull out the creststone of the Sword of the Creator, and place it back into the hilt. I forgot to mention that, like in Crimson Flower, our hair and eye color return to what they're supposed to be. Once we remove the creststone of the Sword of the Creator from our heart. We then give Rhea a choice. We either spare Edelgard, and in return, we give Rhea back the Sword of the Creator, or Rhea will kill Edelgard and we smash the Sword of the Creator into dust. But Rhea ain't having either option. So we collapse from blood loss, in which case Edelgard picks up the sword and fights Rhea. After a while, Edelgard has Rhea pinned down, but just as it's about... And just as it seems that Rhea is about to be killed, who should appear but Volkard von Arundel, who binds Edelgard with magic chains and puts Edelgard to sleep, and has all the playable Black Eagle students arrested, while the playable Blue Lion students, the playable Golden Deer students, and the Ashen Wolves all return to their respective houses, and all adult students in the Officers Academy from the Adrestian Empire are pulled out effective immediately. And he has the Black Eagles classroom and the Black Eagles students' rooms all boarded up. This next part will involve some more sinister methods behind the story beats, as well as some gameplay mechanics that should be touched upon. With that out of the way, let's get started. The story begins on Sunday, the 1st of the Lone Moon month. After hearing about Edelgard's arrest, Volkar demands that all heroes' relics be confiscated. But of course, Catherine does not let go of Thunderbrand. But why, you may ask, am I talking about Catherine when Dimitri's picture is on here? Well, after Dimitri hears about Edelgard's arrest, he heads on over to the complex where Edelgard is being held prisoner. Alone. Because he orders Dedue to stay put. And he wouldn't be gone for very long. Once there, he notices the mages creating a magic circle around the perimeter of the fortress. Dimitri walks up to one of the guards and asks what is going on. But the guard he tells him, Arundel's orders. No one is allowed to see Edelgard until the day of her execution. And just as Dimitri is about to snap on the guard, Arundel steps in and telling him, no, don't. That monster is in there. And I wish to kill her with my own 2 hands. Dimitri, I am very sorry about this, but it simply would not do for you to take petty revenge against someone whom you've treated like family. What would your father say if he heard you were to do that? I know you want to see Edelgard's head on a pike, but if you do so, then you risk the entirety of the kingdom of Fargus. You are its heir and have none of your own. And I wouldn't want to see someone I've grown to love as family be slain, all because of a petty reason. You're right, Uncle. I'm sorry. Now then, return to Garreg Mach immediately. You have? You have? You still have your studies to get to if you wish to become king. I'm sure that the people would like to have a kind-hearted king, rather than a bloodthirsty one. I suppose you're right. Thank you, Uncle. I feel a little better talking about this. My pleasure. But as Dimitri leaves, Volkard gives an order. Make sure Edelgard is not... Volkard gives out an order. Make sure that no one goes near Edelgard until her execution. I don't want even the Archbishop anywhere near her. Do I make myself clear? Yes, sir! The scene then transitions to Arundel Castle, where there is a bit of an exchange between Hubert and Volkard. Hubert inquires what was Edelgard's crime aside from inciting a rebellion against the church. Volkard tells him that after Edelgard became emperor, she killed her own father, Ionius IX, whom, judging by his appearance, looks like he was about to croak already. A small shout out, my own personal shout out to Robbie Damon for this. Lady Edelgard would never kill her own father, as you should know. And Arundel is like, all too well. But I'm sure someone as power-hungry as Edelgard would want to kill her own siblings. Lady Edelgard loved her siblings. She even mourned for their deaths. Yes, all to make her look more innocent. Lady Edelgard is not the power-hungry monster you're making her out to be. And you are the only one who believes that. Does Rhea? Does the church? Does anyone in Adrestia? Does anyone in Fodlan? Now, who do you think they would believe? The power-hungry emperor or the well-respected regent? After what happened yesterday, no one would believe Edelgard's story. And soon, no one ever will. You see, I have an acquaintance that will help prepare Lady Edelgard for her execution. So I suggest you sit tight, relax, and do as you're told. In the meantime, I had invited everyone from across Fodland to attend at Garreg Mach. To attend. So that's your plan, is it? Indeed. And soon, Fodlan will return to its rightful rulers. This is for a spoiler that's going to go down later in the month, but I'd like to give a shout out to Mizonaki for this wonderful drawing, as this is the outfit that Edelgard will be wearing throughout the entire month of her staged execution. As I mentioned before, Edelgard is being held in a fortress in Roe territory, bordering the Empire and the Kingdom. And if I'm wrong about that, please mention that in the comments. Anyways, time to get back to the story. Wake up, beast! Are you now enjoying your new accommodations? Hardly. Why don't you drop the disguise since I'm the only one here? Quite the attitude you have there. Well, let's see how long you can keep it up. Oh, and please ignore BS in the picture. This is a vertical, this is a horizontal, and well, and this is the best I can do on short notice. Anyways, for now I have finished my preparations. The grounds of the fortress are now inscribed with a magic circle, one that was made especially for you. You see, before your execution, you are going to know what fear truly is. But in the meantime, why don't we take a little trip down memory lane? Myson then casts his spell around the entire fortress. First, it appears like nothing has happened. That is, until Edelgard hears a voice. El? El? Is that you? No. No, it can't be. El? It's us. Have you forgotten all about us already? No. How could I? El, why couldn't you have saved us back then? No. This can't be real. Feeling familiar yet? Well, it's only going to get worse from here. For the next month, you're going to relive your worst nightmare. And once it is done, you will watch it over and over again. Have fun with your siblings while you still can. No, for everyone else, I have to stay strong. I have to get through this. I can't let them break me. Not again. Never again. I cannot let this get to me. As you all know from Edelgard support conversations, whether you're with the Black Eagles or the Church, Edelgard had 10 siblings, 8 older, 2 younger, and they all died from experiments by those who slither in the dark. Myson has made it so that Edelgard relives the memories of those experiments performed on her siblings over and over again in an attempt to destroy her mind. You know, so she ends up from this to this. Meanwhile, Claude is reunited. Meanwhile, Claude and Hilda are reunited with Golden Deer students, and since Dimitri is away, Dedue, who is reunited with his friends in the Blue Lion House. And Lysithea fills the Golden Deer in on everything that's happened to her. And who should listen in on this but Erwin Gloucester, who has a physical appearance in 3 Hopes, along with a paralogue with Lysithea. Apparently, Erwin and Lysithea's father are actually good friends, despite the fact that they bicker a lot at the roundtable conferences. And with that, Lysithea begins to tell her plight. It's also important to point out that he was also invited by Arundel to attend Edelgard's execution. And it was a good thing because he needed to hear what Lysithea had to say too. I just can't believe it. Poor child. I'm so sorry. Of course, everyone else couldn't believe it, but considering that it was Kronya who killed Leone while disguised as Monica, just ignore the earlier part about Kronya killing Leone, because that never happened. Anyways, considering the fact that Solon was the one who infected everybody in Remire village to make them attack each other, and Kronya, in disguise of Monica, kills Geralt, the Golden Deer felt inclined to help their fellow student Lysithea. This is where one of those new mechanics comes in. As the new month actually begins on here, on the first of the month. And with Byleth out of commission, players get to take control of Claude. And since Claude is playable, we regain control of Lorenz, Raphael, Ignatz, Lysithea, Marianne, and Leone, with Hilda already part of the Golden Deer, and Erwin also being playable. Well, in 3 houses for the very first time. It should be noted that Erwin's class is a paladin who has already surpassed the noble, soldier, and cavalier classes. And he has high proficiencies in swords, cavalry, and lances. His axe stat is pretty comparable, about a C at most. A bit ironic considering the axe of Yukon Vasara is a Gloucester relic. And he also has a high proficiency in, and he also has a hidden talent in reason magic. And this is where another one of those gameplay mechanics comes in. Specifically, the save files. This is from my own Verdant Wind playthrough, and I'm actually on the final chapter of this. Take a look at all those stats. That's right. Once the Rainbow Sun route begins, all these stats get transferred to Claude from a previous Verdant Wind save file. And since students from the Golden Deer house join any route, the stats from the latest playthrough get transferred as well. Without the need for renown, of course. Meaning that Claude will get all the skills he's acquired immediately, if that makes sense. I'm gonna have to work on his brawling for a bit. But this is for Rainbow Sun, not Verdant Wind, so just so you know. A great way to save time, in my opinion. The only option you get is exploration. As Claude, he goes around from his room to explore the monastery. Only it works a little differently than it normally would. You can still talk to people, but, this is a big but, all other facilities will have to be closed down temporarily. That means no gardening, no fishing, and no dining hall, and no food prep. And no choir practice. And let's see, what else was there? Oh yeah, no shops. But that's going to be explained in the next part. Claude will go to various places around the academy. He'll tell the gardener, the cooking staff, and the fishermen to start preparing to pack things up. Gathering as much of the resources like plant seeds and fish as they can, because something big is about to go down. He also goes to Hilda to tell her brother Holst to keep an eye on Teach. This will be important later. He also tells Sedith that in order to save the knowledge of Garreg Mach, all the books will have to be relocated to Fodlan's locket, including the ones in Abyss. Speaking of Abyss, Claude also goes there to inform the librarian and to gather as many of the books as they can, and have them mixed and have them buried underneath the books taken from the library. And also take the books out of the Ashen Wolf's classroom and get all the books to Fodlan's locket as quickly as humanly possible. He also goes to recruit the Ashen Wolves in our place and re-recruit the Blue Lion students that joined the Black Eagle's house. Since we, Byleth, are out of commission in the infirmary. He does so to get as many troops as he can, and for a good cause. Since Hubert is the one who knows all the answers, it's imperative that they head to Volkard's castle to try and talk to him. And since Claude's not a teacher, he doesn't gain access to things like lectures and group activities and such. You know, all the things that Byleth normally would. He also goes back to the kitchen and tells the chef to have some pre-made meals ready as a bit of a precaution. Next, he tells the store clerks to leave, as we will need a convoy for this long trip. And before ending the day, he checks in on the professor and tells them he's gotten a bodyguard for them to keep them safe. Yeah. He got a bodyguard ready just for us. Which would be Holst. Once free time is over, another story cutscene will happen here on the second day. Except this time, it's Rhea. Yeah. Who attempts to interrogate Edelgard, but to no avail, as the guard's orders were to keep everyone away from Edelgard until the day of her execution, and that not even the goddess is allowed to see her. It should be also noted that Dimitri returned sometime this day, but was informed by the Blue Lion students that Claude had gone to recruit them to try and rescue Hubert. And naturally, Dedue would be against this. After which, the story would resume on the 3rd. On the 3rd, Golden Deer, plus Irwin, along with the Ashen Wolves, prepare to leave, but they are halted by the students of the Blue Lion House, whom, after hearing about Claude's rescue plan, we not only get the playable Blue Lion students back, those being Felix, Ash, Sylvain, Mercedes, Annette, and Ingrid. We also get Dimitri and Dedue, and their stats from an Azure Moon playthrough also get transferred. In other words, Dimitri and Dedue are now playable. Yay! Just imagine Dimitri, Dedue, and Claude on the same team. Now this can already be done in 3 hopes, but it's just nice to have a little more options with your units. But they are not the only ones. And just as they're about to leave, who should be behind the fortress doors of Garreg Mach, then, that being the entryway to the marketplace, east to the castle town, then, Rhea and the Knights of Seiros. as last night, Rhea just got back from where Edelgard was imprisoned and is beginning to suspect something unusual. Sedith also informed her that Dimitri tried to get in as well, only to be stopped by Arundel. Why did Arundel have to take the sword of the Creator? It couldn't be just as evidence to use against Edelgard. Rhea feels that she cannot keep secrets from them any longer, but will only reveal those secrets when the time comes. Edelgard has the crest of flames, just like the professor, us. How does she get it? Who implanted it on her, and why? And Sedith, being Rhea's confidant, knows some of the truth of what was going on, and has an ultimatum. Either the students can return to their dormitories and wait out Edelgard's execution, or the Knights of Seiros come with them to Volkard's castle to get the answers out of Hubert. Knowing how straight-laced Sedith is, Claude agrees to the terms. However, he instructs Flayn and Rhea instructs Cyril to stay behind and protect the professor. After all, they need all the help they can get to protect the professor while we're recuperating. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. We lose Anna too. But she does stick around the marketplace. But she's not going to be an innocent bystander. No, 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 no. Oh, for in an upcoming battle, we will have Anna, Flayn, Cyril, and Holst be playable. In the meantime, she plays babysitter for Flayn, Cyril, and us, the professor. So, now we have more people joining us. These include Sedith, Alois, Catherine, Shamir, Hanneman, Manuela, and Rhea herself, with Flayn and Cyril staying behind. As for Gilbert, well, he'll show up in the next part, at Arundel Manor. Speaking of, we arrived there on the 5th, which is a Thursday. Now, this video has gone on long enough as it is. Heck, it's gone on even longer than my first part of my Apollo Justice playthrough. So, I'm going to have to call it here. Next time, we'll have our first battle without Teach and learn a little more about the secret history of Fodlan. Until then, see you later.